Welcome back to the weekly Forex forecast. So, man, I want to get right into last week was an amazing week. It was a great week. I had multiple setups. I was just playing out textbook setups. So I want to start showing really two of my setups of the week last week. Gave this out, GBPCAD specifically gave this out in the VIP Discord. Now, this was a textbook setup. I want to show because I actually sent this out on Telegram too. You can see the markup. Right, I was anticipating, you see the double top there, I was anticipating a breakdown retest for continuation, and that's exactly what we got. Like, this was a beautiful setup. All right, and then also here, we're looking at AUDCAD. All right, same thing, beautiful, strong rejection from supply, and this was smooth sailing all the way back down to this low of demand. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. It don't get no better than this. Like, textbook beautiful swings, right? Daily swings. Why scout 5 pips, 10 pips when you could look to catch the whole move, the whole daily swings, weekly swings. All right. So that's how I like to trade, because it's beautiful. All right. So getting right into it. And also last week we had some fundamentals. So this week dealing with, let's see what we got on. Tip for you all: always look at the news. Always look at what's coming up on the radar so you can know, because it could impact your trading. A lot of times, there's manipulation that goes on. So this week, Tuesday, CAD CPI, it's inflation data. We got consumer confidence for the dollar, Australian dollar CPI. Okay, so that's something I've definitely got to pay attention to, because I am heavily bearish on Australian dollar this week. All right. So understanding there's some CPI, I would expect some value, but I'll anticipate some type of potential manipulation. All right. And then we see GBP, yen, our governor speaking. We got Powell speaking again for the dollar on Wednesday. Thursday, we got unemployment claims, German prelim CPI for the euro. So this is a big CPI week from what I'm seeing. All right. CPI does tend to bring value in the market as well. So if you're trading those pairs, those currencies, be mindful of that. All right. So getting right to it. Firstly, I want to cover the setups that I just showed: GBPCAD, Australian dollar CAD. All right, real quick. If we're looking at GCAD, this was beautiful. So if we look on the weekly, all right, we had a strong rejection from a level of supply. We got a nice close on a weekly right here, right? So I'm not necessarily looking for another setup on GBPCAD this week. I'll cover what, the pairs I'm focused on this week. But we could see overall, this was a false break right here. You see, because we actually broke above this high right here, broke above this level of supply. And then initially, then what we did is we pretty much topped out, right? He threw a wick to the upside. What gave me anticipation for this breakdown coming? Because I was able to look at the daily. All right. Always focus on the higher time frame. If you wanna understand, right, and have some of the best projections based off of the higher time frames, that's the key. I always stress this. I can't stress this enough, man. Like I can't make this stuff up, because when I saw this on the daily, right, I saw price wick out here on the daily, giving me a shooting star type projection, right, a pin bar type projection, nice wick rejection, closing back here. For me, that was a sign of price exhaustion. All right. And I was anticipating price to set up for this breakdown. And that's exactly what we got. All right. I was entering at these highs. All right. But I believe when I gave a signal out, in VIP, and it hit TP3, I believe, for 155 pips, which is down here, right? Down here, it was my TP3 was 0.675. All right. So this was a setup right here. You got the breakdown, nice break of structure. This is your confirmation to go lower. All right, you could wait for your pullback, potential retest, and it continued down, right? This move right here, this is why I say pay attention to news, because this move right here, this wick, that happened with the news. News came out, right? They faked some traders out, and then here through this big wick, strong wick rejection, and just continued. All right, I believe right here was news again, right? So that's why I say when certain big news events come out, anticipate some type of manipulation. Anticipate some type of manipulation, because that's what's happened here. Again, Another news event came out. You know, it was on fire for GBP this week. Broke down, it threw this big wick to the upside and rejected and ended up hitting our TP3. All right, so that's something to pay attention to. Because if you was looking at this, let's say on a 2-hour, right here, did this move like, oh, they pumping. Oh, man. So what they did, they got the weak hands out and then just continued. So price action and market structure is king. News events is going to come. News just brings in the volume, but you can see it still did exactly what price action overall based off the higher time frame was showing you. All right. So now moving forward on this, price could hold. If price holds, find support, we could see a corrective move up. But if this was to break structure, in order for me to say, okay, we still expected more downside, because you always look to the left to go right. So if price comes down here and breaks structure, then, you know, that's a sign that you're likely to go lower. All right. And then you can look for a move back down to this level of demand. All right. So that's GBPCAD. Now, AUDCAD was another, man. Beautiful, beautiful. It gets no better than this, man. Like, these are golden setups. Like, that's why I say, like, I know some people like to scout. You like to be in and out, catch your 10 pips, 15 pips. But I'm telling you, if you focus on one or two, all you really need is one or two golden setups, and you good for the week. And if you make enough, you might be good for 2 weeks, and then you could just take it easy the next week. Like, you don't always have to be in trades, because these type of setups, look, they can make you be good for the month if you catch it right. You know what I'm saying? Because I was looking at this on a higher time frame. I spotted it, right? We're on the downtrend on the daily. Price came up to this level of structure, right? Now, when you zoom out, you can see, look to the left. This became supply or resistance here on the break and retest. But in the past, it was some type of demand here. All right. It was also nice supply here. So this is a strong level of structure. So I'm going to react to what price is showing me. And now we see this big move, man. This is crazy. I expected a drop, but I didn't expect this move to happen so quick. Not on AUDCAD. So this had to be some type of fundamental move, because this was institutional money coming in, because it's not, AUDCAD doesn't typically move so much in 1 week. It's not one of those volatile pairs. Because you can look from here, when price made this move, this was May 5th. Just to get down here, that was May 8th. This is May 18th. You see what I'm saying? So on a typical average week, AUDCAD doesn't move that much. So it was just something going on with AUD. A lot of bearish pressure came into AUD across the board. And man, this was 1 week. This was Monday. What was that? What's today? That was Monday. So price moved, man. 270 pips or more in 1 week on Australian dollar CAD is a lot of pips. All right. That's a lot for AUDCAD. So I saw this, and like, what gave me the confidence, similar to GBPCAD, is if I'm looking to the left, I'm seeing this is a level of supply. This is a level that price respects a lot. All right. So going into the week, this move already happened. The initial rejection already happened. We got an evening star, bearish rejection. Next 4-hour candle also closed bearish. So now I was like, okay, I like to see on the pullback. This is something I'm confident, honestly, with entering early. All right, because I was that confident on this setup. We can even take the counter trend line, or, you know, I could have either tighter one. That's the outer one, so I have outer and inner trend line. So you can make a tighter one, like right here, boom, right? And you can see this was the pullback. On this pullback, you could have entered comfortably based off of the daily resistance or the daily rejection, the 4-hour rejection. You could have entered comfortably on this pullback, stop loss above. You would have been easily in the money. Like, at the bare minimum, I would have expected price to at least come back down to this level of structure around here, right? But you can see it kept going. That was a 1 to 5, 1 to 6 risk to reward. All right, risking 46 pips. Price moved about 280 pips from there. Beautiful move. All right. Now, it gave you multiple opportunities on this. That's why it's important to understand how to trade in line with structure. So I could throw this on here, have my outer trend line now. Could throw that. Boom. Boom. Right there. Let me see. Let me adjust this. Right there. So you had opportunities, right? Either on, right, breakdown, pullback. This is opportunity here. Broke down again, broke the trend line. Pull back here, right? That was opportunity here. Stop loss above structure. Boom. Price continued. Right? And then it just continued down. Now, you know, I'm going to tell you a trick. Look at this. It gave you multiple opportunities. So let's say if I'm looking at this from a 4-hour perspective, right? I'm looking here. I'm looking to the left. This is a level of structure. So if we break this, I'm anticipating this going lower on the pullback. Look for the pullback or retest. So that's what it did. When you see a 4-hour close below a level of structure, that's a good sign the price is definitely going lower. We broke down here, pullback, retest here. This is your entry here on this retest. Stop loss above structure. Boom. Kept going. But you have more opportunity. So now I'm looking at structure. I'm looking at potential structure here. I'm looking at this higher low structure, right? If we break below that, then that's the sign we're going lower. But first, it had another opportunity here though, because initially price pulled back, retested, dropped. On this pullback, this was another opportunity too. But then we broke structure again, another 4-hour close below structure. Looking to the left. So now on this slight pullback, this was another opportunity. You could have entered here on this slight pullback. Stop loss above structure. And it continued to fall, right? So this is money, man. Now we back in this demand level, so it could slow up. It could give you some type of pullback first, but keep in mind, big bearish engulfing on the weekly, so it's not done yet. But it could potentially correct some first. We pushing more into this level, all right? So be mindful of that. Now, looking at the dollar index. So the dollar index, overall, I was expecting this to be a big correction on the dollar because I'm looking at this based off the monthly. And I understand here on a monthly, we got a nice bullish engulfing. So I believe this on a dollar was just a pullback of that, setting up for the bigger move up. All right. Now, if I'm looking to the left, of course, this also, where they found support, was around this previous level of structure. All right, previous level of structure right there, and then it found its way up. So now, ending this week, if I go down to like the daily, we can see real quick. I want to adjust this because I want you to see what I'm looking at. So if I look at it from this perspective, right, down here on a dollar, price basically formed like a big double bottom here, right, at this level, right? This is where price bounced from. All right, now if I'm looking at this on a dollar from this perspective, what I see an inverted head and shoulders here before it made its move up. Head, right shoulder, left shoulder, had an extension up. All right, so now this pullback that we're getting now is a retest, really a retest of structure. So I'm looking at this neckline of the inverted head and shoulders, basically. Right? Price is retesting that. So as it retests that, look what we got here. Price action is king. We got a double bottom, right? And price actually just broke the neckline. It broke the neckline of that double bottom. To end the week, dollar pressure came in. So it broke the neckline of that double bottom. So that's a confirmed double bottom based off of price action. So now going into this week, I'm still bullish on the dollar this week. All right, so price could pull back, retest here, or probably slightly a little more. But overall, I would look for the dollar to be setting up to go higher. All right, I'm looking for the dollar to set up to go higher. So with that, we can see some of these dollar pairs and see how we're setting up. So my top two really for the week when I'm dealing with the dollar this week is EU and AUD. EU and Australia. So starting with EU, I actually caught some of this drop. It hit my TP. I entered a sell here. I'm gonna tell you why. It was very simple why I caught the sell. All right. Now, if I look at this, we look at this on a daily, nice breakdown on the weekly. Now, what I'm paying attention to, the same way I showed you that the dollar index had a bullish engulfing on a monthly and it was retesting that. Now, look at this on EU. We got a bearish engulfing on a monthly, right? And what EU was doing was pulling back or retesting that. Because we see that on a monthly, that's a sign that it's setting up to go lower. But of course, you'll see that pullback first. That's what we get in here. So now on the weekly, potential head and shoulders. This is a potential head and shoulders. Left shoulder, right shoulder. Potential head and shoulders right here. Now we get in a daily breakdown. So initially, you know, I was looking for, but this is why you be patient. Because once price broke above this on the daily, I was looking for price possibly to come back, maybe retest and go higher into this level before any more drop. But that's why you patient on that level. I wasn't just going to buy at this level just because. Once I saw things shifting, the dollar shifting bullish, my bias changed. I saw the euro setting up to potentially fall. So what I did, went down to the 4-hour. I was like, okay, if price don't hold here, if it breaks through, that's a sign of bears. All right. So what I did was, you could take a counter trend line here too. All right. So what I did was I saw this candlestick. Also, the euro, the ECB news that came out, that helped because I was able to that gave us some pressure into the euro. When I saw this 4-hour candle close below, instead of retesting and holding above structure, I closed below structure. When I saw that, I was entering sell. Stop loss above here, and then we broke down. All right, nice breakdown, hit my TP, I was out. But going into this week, I'm still looking for sales. All right. I also like, it's a certain way I trade with the 50 EMA. I like that we had a nice close below that too on a 1-hour, but that's another conversation. So now what I'm looking for this corrective play on this pullback corrective wave, setting up for another drop. All right. Another drop down at least, right? If I look to the left, where price is at is roughly around the level of structure. All right. So if we continue to fall and break through here, then we're going even lower. All right. But at least on this pullback, another drop. Australian dollar. So all across the board, Australian dollar weakness came in heavy. So I'm heavily bearish on all this week. Heavily bearish. Now, if I'm looking at this on Australian dollar or AU, same thing. I caught this beautiful breakdown, man. I took profit down here, but I'm not done. I'm looking for another setup on the pullback. What gave me confirmation to take this is similar to what I saw in EU. All right. Now, if I'm looking at this, now for one, look at the weekly, bearish engulfing. That's a sign? That's a sign that the bears are in control, and it's likely this is going to fall even further. All right. It's very likely that this is going to fall further. So understanding that, I'm looking for price to come down into this level, roughly about 0.66, possibly lower, but that would be my target. So if I'm going down to the daily, I saw this because I'm looking to the left and I'm like, okay, I'm looking to the left. This is a level of supply structure. When I saw this daily candle, bearish engulfing daily candle, close below structure, that was all I needed to see. That was a strong indication for me that, you know what, I'm looking to take this down lower. All right. All weakness came in, dollar strength came in, gave me that push. So what I did was, that was on the daily. So I waited for a slight pullback. But on this slight pullback right here, I entered there. I entered like somewhere around here. My stop loss was above structure. All right. My stop loss was above that structure, above that high, and then caught this wave. All right. So now I'm still looking for more sell. All right. You could look at this level right here and say, okay, this is structure low that it broke. So it will be ideal if we could see price retest that. Now, I don't need to see a full retest of that. Like, I'll be cool, because what I like to do sometimes, especially if I'm looking at the daily and I'm looking for another wave down, I would like to measure this daily candle. So if I measure this with the fib, all right, I like to see at least anywhere from a 50 to a 61.8% pullback. I'm cool with. All right, the risk reward has got to be worth it. Ideally, I would like to see a pullback around 6727-ish area. All right, ideally. But overall, you can look at this on a 4-hour. It's clear bearish. All right, it's clearly bearish. So I would just be looking for a corrective wave, pullback up for the breakdown. All right, ideally, if we could get a retest, even better. If you could get a retest of this, that's even better for real. All right, so something like this, even within this area from here on up, my stop loss would be above structure. All right, really above that daily candle. All right, and I'm looking to take this down further. All right, so I believe this will be a good setup next week. Keep in mind, though, they got CPI and news and everything coming out. So I'm really hoping that this does pull back and they don't just, if they open the week just continuing to drop and no pullback, that's a sign that maybe with CPI they about to pump it. That's just how they like to move. But that's AU. I'm still looking for bears because really overall, like I said, real quick, we can also look at, like I said, across the board, all CHF. All right. So if you look at all CHF, this was a setup that I liked. Overall, we just kept dropping, right? So beautiful. We see on the weekly. So this is like a alternative setup this week, possibly. But overall, I'm still bearish from this. Nice bearish engulfing on the weekly. All right. On the daily, we still bearish. We break it down. So this is how I'm looking at this. All right. Because it broke down. I could even drag this zone over a little more. And we could see, all right, lines up with that level of resistance. Beautifully. Beautifully. So, of course, a retest like this will be perfect. Boom. That's what I would look for on all CHF. And you could look at this, look at the structure. Like it's clear. It's clear as day once you train your eye to understand this stuff. Like we got a slice head and shoulders right here, right? What price did, it broke structure, it retested, or a pullback, boom. Right? On this pullback was another opportunity. Then boom, we broke structure. Broke structure on this retest is where you enter, continued down. All right. So now overall, I'm still bearish. All right. So I would like to see like another on this scenario, another retest within this area, and then take this down towards them lows. All right. That's all CHF. All right, looking at gold. So gold gave a move down on the weekly, strong bearish rejection. It gave a nice move down. So it's interesting to see what it's going to do this week. If dollar continue bullish, we could see another drop on gold. So if I'm looking at, let me see, because price did end with another slight rejection. So I'm looking at it from this perspective. Here on the 4-hour, price came down roughly where it came down to. This was around, like this was like a level of support. All right. Now, if I look to the left, right, you see that this is a level of structure to the left. So price found some support, pumped up. But then based off the 4-hour, it gave a nice little like shooting star type projection. All right. So we could possibly see another bearish wave. So if I look at this like on the 1-hour, you know, maybe some type of pullback, maybe probably within structure again, and possibly catch another wave to the downside. All right, GBPUSD. So it was interesting. Overall with GU, I was looking for this to pull back. But once GU broke like this key level of structure, like even if I look at this on the weekly, I was looking for this to possibly retest to continue. So I'm interested to see what happens because the dollar does have an impact on what GU does as well. But then again, if pound strength overrides that, we could see GU pump. So I will be watching this level. Right now, it pulled down, but now it's finding some support. So maybe a slight pullback. If it pulls back some early, it possibly could set up to give you another drop. All right, but once we get around these levels, these are the interesting levels I will watch because that's a break or bounce. All right, now price comes down here and breaks through structure, then that's a sign you're going lower. Catch the pullbacks or retest opportunities to potentially look to catch the continued wave to the downside. EJ, so dealing with, I was able to actually catch this move. This move right here was beautiful. I caught this with the news, but then you see it found supportive structure and just pumped back up to end the week. All right, but that was a beautiful play, corrective play that I was able to catch. All right, but now overall, EJ is still bullish. EJ still bullish. So for me, I would say still look for potential buys. Like if this pulls back, this is still probably a sign that it's going to go lower. Either a pullback like that, or if price continues, right, like above here, if it continues to make higher highs, right, because all price did, it dropped, but it came back and retested the prior high and rejected. So if it does that, continue to break higher highs, then you can continue to look to ride that up. Right now, it's still bullish overall in the uptrend. Same thing with GJ. I was looking to catch some quick sales on this to end the week, but it was a lot of manipulation, a lot of things going on with the news. But I knew overall that was just a short sell, and it's still bullish as well. So with GJ, we still clearly in an uptrend. I will only look for sell buys unless price shows a reason to sell. But overall, you know, on these pullbacks, possibly setting up to continue higher. All right. So that's what I'm looking for the week. Like I said, right now, my top two setups that I'm going to focus on early is EU and AU on these pullbacks. I'm looking for these pullbacks to give me, you know, a potential another wave to the downside. So really just price action, price action, price action. Focus. All you need is one or two golden setups. All right, golden setups. That's all you need. Now, of course, if they play out, you got your profit. You could be on to the next. But one or two setups is really all you need. Less is more. Quality over quantity. All right. Be sure to like and subscribe. I hope you all got value out of that. And I'll see you all on the next one. If you want, if you're looking for mentorship, you can still tap in at the fxwave.com. Also tap into the free Telegram. Like just off the Telegram alone, I'll be dropping projections and setups for y'all. Like you can easily take advantage of those as well. All right. Y'all be blessed. See you on the next one.